Hey guys, what is up? As you know, I'm exploring different possibilities for who could be AD. I kind of have like a top 5 that I'm looking at, but Monday I will be releasing my #1 guess for AD. Again, do I think all of these people are AD? I think they possibly could be, and I don't think there's a clear person, but I do have a #1 guess, so you want to make sure you're subscribed. So turn your notifications on so you don't miss my #1 final guess for AD. That video drops on Monday. But today, a lot of you, 500 plus of you, have requested for me to do Caleb is AD video. And that is what I'm doing today because I do think he has compelling evidence to support why he could be AD. Let's start from this. The good morning, not the good morning. Let's start from the Entertainment Tonight interview with Marlene, okay? I think she dropped a lot of hints in there. Some of the stuff she might be tricking us, I don't know. This one line she said made me think of Caleb. She said that a lot of people were guessing, basically a lot of people were not guessing who AD was, like on social media, but sometimes somebody would guess who it was. So as much as I believe personally that Spencer's twin, Twincer, is AD, that theory is so popular they even asked her about that in the interview, and maybe that's who it is and she's trying to throw us off, but I was thinking about someone who's not very obvious, who's not guessed very often, and Caleb is really not guessed that much. I mean, I get Melissa most of the time, and I get Twincer on my channel, so those are the two big ones. Those are the two obvious ones. And if you remember, like, the CC reveal was not super popular. I remember I asked people who they thought it was, and hardly anybody guessed her back when that reveal happened. So they may be going this route where it's not a super obvious person. So another reason I think that Caleb could be AD, and it's not a super obvious reason, is we still have this issue as to who is the baby daddy of Allie's baby. And it makes me really feel compelled that this person is AD because of that incident, because of something that happened, because of how that happened. And I really think that it could be a male, and there's only a couple of men who I think could be AD, so Caleb is one of those. Now, one of my biggest reasons for thinking Caleb is AD, and I've thought this before, is that we really don't know anything about him. We know less about him than anyone. He was adopted. We don't know anything about his family at all. We've never seen any of them. So how do we really know who he really is? I mean, how do we know he's not somehow connected to one of the families on this show? Now, I really hope he's not related to Spencer because we know he was dating her and all of that stuff, and I hope they don't go there. But I don't know if he has a connection to somebody else, if he's connected to Arya in some way, because most people are saying it has to be Ezra because Ezra cares about Arya. Well, you really don't know what's going on with Caleb. What if Caleb is related to Arya? I mean, have you ever thought about that? We don't know what his background is. He could literally be anybody. He could literally have made up his name, made up his last name. So the reason for this AD attachment to Arya may not be something that's just right in our face and super obvious. Maybe he's related to her. Maybe they have a backstory. Maybe he knew her from way back. I don't know. But it may not be as obvious as it looks why AD was so nice to Arya. We know he's super smart and he could definitely create the board game. There's only a couple of people who could that we know of. If it's somebody's twin who's like super smart in that area, we just don't know that. But I already did a video about it being Lucas, so check that out. I will link that down below, but my only other guess would be Caleb for this. We know he's smart enough to pull something off like this, and AD has always been someone that's very smart with technology and phones and, you know, all the different things that Caleb is best at has been the way that AD has communicated with the girls, so it would kind of make sense that it would be someone like him with that type of background. So what really made me want to make this video was the last episode. I thought his behavior was really bizarre. Now that totally could be a red herring, but it kind of reminded me of other shows where you're getting close to a killer reveal and the way that person acts before they're revealed. Let's talk about this meeting at the Two Crows with Mona. Now, in my opinion, it almost seemed to me like he was the one who organized this meeting, but some things kind of went wrong and Hannah came with him, so he had to play it off like he wasn't really the one who scheduled that meeting. Because what was the point? Who scheduled that meeting? And, you know, I mean, I just think it's really weird, and he was very rude to Mona, and he was eating the pie, and it just seemed his whole demeanor was off, and when he was going through like the secret passageway with Spencer, he just seemed really bizarre and really weird, and I just kind of felt like he was in on it, you know? I guess we've never thought about a male person on this show having a twin, but we could go there with that too. It could be, you know, him who has a twin. Who knows? Again, he's adopted. We don't know anything about his background. He could totally have a twin or triplets or whatever, and how would we know? But to me, that behavior was just super, super strange, especially in that scene at Two Crows. And you know what else? That he was trying so hard to make it seem like Mona was AD. That's a tactic that's used in so many shows and movies where someone who is the bad guy or the killer is trying to deflect off on someone else because they're desperate to not make it look like them. Now, I don't think anyone really suspected him, but he was just hardcore like, oh my God, it's Mona, it's Mona. You know, he went to her apartment and talking to her, exposing her at the diner, you know, he was just sure that it was her. So because we don't know much about him, we don't know if he has any connections to Charlotte. Again, with him having such a mysterious background, more mysterious than anyone else, it leaves the show an opportunity to say, hey, he actually knew Charlotte, or he was in Radley before, or hey, what about this? He was at that camp for troubled boys. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe he was at the camp for troubled boys. Maybe he knew Charles, maybe he knew Lucas, but maybe he had a different name at that time. There's a lot of possibilities here. And if you remember from that interview for Entertainment Tonight, Marlene said the more important focus on the finale is the why this person's doing all of this stuff than the how. And if we can't understand why because we just don't know that person's backstory, it would make it much harder to guess who that person is. So it could totally be him because we don't know anything about what he went through in the past, and he could connect a lot of the pieces together that we've been given, but we just didn't know he was involved. Like if he was at the boys' camp, if he was at Radley, he could have been in all these different places, and we just didn't know because we've never been given that information. So that might be why people are saying it's hard to figure out, or she's saying it's hard to guess because we don't have those important pieces. So why do you think Kalo could be AD? I know several of you do, and if you do, post down below. If you don't, but you think it's someone else, give me your theory about why it's that person. So if you didn't know, I'm doing a video or videos every single day until the finale. I have a lot of stuff planned on finale day. I'm watching it live, East Coast. You can watch my reaction live along with me. I'm doing stuff after the finale. Like this entire week is devoted to Pretty Little Liars. So you want to stick around, you want to subscribe if you haven't. And if you didn't know, I shout out someone in every video who's joined my notification squad. And today, that person is Kara MacDonald. Kara, thank you so much for watching my videos and turning my notifications on. You can be shouted out too. Just turn the notifications on, type notification squad down below, and it could be you in the next video. I love you guys so much. I'm so excited for Tuesday. I really want to know who it is, but it's fun trying to figure it out in the meantime, so hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Kelly TV family. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with all I'm doing.